Welcome back. Beijing opera has been a traditional form of entertainment in China for centuries. A mix of music, singing, and acrobatics, it takes years of dedication to master the art form. Despite its long history, though, Beijing opera has been in slow decline. That hasn't deterred one man from trying to turn round its fortunes. But this man isn't from China, and he's not even Chinese. No, it's not a maiden call or a yodel, it's opera. What you're hearing might sound strange, but what you're seeing is even more unusual. This Azerbaijani from Britain is training to master Beijing opera, China's highest and hardest art form. Ghaffar Pourazar has been performing Beijing opera since 1995, 1 year after moving to China to take lessons. It's not often that somebody makes it on stage so quickly. It's almost unthinkable that a foreigner, a 30-something foreigner, can do it.
People should start learning Beijing opera at a very young age because that's when their joints and muscles are most flexible. We usually begin practicing at the age of 12. Ghaffar was already over 30 years old when he started. I thought it would be impossible.
Ghaffar proved the skeptics wrong, but it wasn't easy. From the moment he entered the Beijing Opera Academy 7 years ago, he's almost never left it. 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, in sickness and in health, Ghaffar is in training.
Well, it's a bit like the Olympics. The training is incredible. Every morning, throughout the day, and then performing in the evening. No real weekends, no weekends. It's because the theory about performing on stage in China is about becoming physically learning the actor's movements so well that when you're on stage, you're almost possessed.
Some would say even obsessed. For Ghaffar, it began in 1993 when he saw his first performance of Beijing opera in London. Immediately, he was hooked.
It was incomparable with anything else. I had tears, and I was like watching this show, you know, all this color and all this movement and all this sound and dancing, acting, acrobatics, singing. And looking back now, it was like I knew, I knew that I had found something.
It was like your calling.
You can call it that.
Shen Jiaxin was on that stage that night in London. He recalls seeing Ghaffar at every subsequent performance of the troupe's UK tour.
We thought Ghaffar was quite unusual because he kept following us around to all the different places. Whenever we performed, he was there. It's so rare to find someone who is so interested in Beijing opera.
Or someone who has gone to such lengths to pursue it. At the time, Ghaffar was working as a computer animator, using a mouse and keyboard to replicate human movement. But after seeing these performers on stage, he decided to replicate their movements by learning them himself. Ghaffar had never been to China, he didn't speak the language, he was pushing 30. But that didn't stop him. Ghaffar quit his job, uprooted his life, and moved to Beijing to sing in a language he didn't speak and move in a manner his body never considered. What did people in Beijing make of you when you first arrived?
Crazy foreigner. Crazy old foreigner. You're crazy for wanting to do Beijing opera when most Chinese people, including Beijing opera people, want to do English and computers.
Which is why Beijing opera is now seen as a dying art. Although it's been around for more than 200 years, surviving even the Cultural Revolution of the late 60s and early 70s, traditional Beijing opera, dramatizing the entire history and literature of China, is losing its audience. Once the entertainment of choice for everyone from top government officials to peasants, only the elderly enjoy it today, those who were children when Beijing opera was most popular.
China's changed now. It's like the fast food. It's like McDonald's, you know. People are, even Chinese people are becoming used to McDonald's. And they want quick satisfaction in a short time. They don't have patience. The young people don't have patience. Only the older people who remember it and love it and appreciate it.
People such as Master B, a member of the old generation of Beijing opera performers. B is among the last of a dying breed, an artist trained to fulfill the most rigorous demands of traditional Beijing opera.
A person like him knows over 100 plays, knows the words, knows the characters. He can show you what each character says and sings. He would be able to direct a complete play, and hundreds of them. That's how rich the Beijing opera was in those days. Nowadays, the young performers, they'd be lucky to know more than 10 plays.
What would happen when people like Mr. B are no longer around?
Well, when you lose the old generation, a massive hole will appear in China, where the young people don't have the knowledge and the experience and the simple know-how of how to perform some of these plays. In fact, hundreds of plays have already been lost.
To preserve what's left, Ghaffar travels around China to record the lives and work of the country's remaining opera masters. He hopes to produce a documentary showcasing the richness of this art form. B, a teacher at the Academy of Traditional Chinese Opera, is one among dozens of artists he is memorializing.
For people of my generation, we have to make the best use of our remaining time by passing on this art form. We are pinning our hopes on people like Ghaffar, the younger generation. It's important, but there's one other thing. Art needs to develop, and it needs new elements so it can be passed on. To survive, it needs to change with the times.
Thanks to Ghaffar, Beijing opera is changing. As part of his efforts to save the art form, Ghaffar is also revolutionizing it. This was his first attempt, a Beijing opera rendition of Shakespeare's Midsummer's Night Dream. Ghaffar first adapted the classic to attract Western tourists. Now similar plays are being converted, from Hamlet and King Lear to the Greek tragedies. It might not do much to preserve traditional Beijing opera, but at least it's reviving an interest in it. Beijing opera fan and performer Ghaffar Pourazar. And that's all we have time for on Focus Asia this week. Don't forget, you can look at our archive of stories on our website at focusasia.startv.com. And if you have any comments about the program, you can email us at the usual address, focusasia@startv.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Jennifer Lee. Goodbye.